Venus gets in a square with Neptune on Thursday, July 14th. Expect your creativity and imagination to increase, but watch out for a tendency to lose touch with reality. Let's take a closer look and break this transit for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. And if you'd like to work with me, there's a link down below. Check it out to book a reading. So today we're talking about Venus in a square to Neptune. To understand Venus in a square to Neptune, we first have to understand the two planets separately. Venus is the planet of beauty, attraction, desire. It's the glue that holds things together. She's like the ultimate diplomat, navigating all the tough circumstances and, bringing things and people that will not work together. Neptune is connected to Venus in some way. There is a bit of a similarity because Neptune deals with imagination and fantasy and dream world, dreamscapes. But sometimes Neptune can also be connected to deception and overdoing it, dreaming so much that you completely lose touch with reality and escape it far, far away. So these two planets are coming together in a square. Square is of the nature of Mars. It's a tense aspect. That means that they are trying to assert their agenda at the same time and kind of not budging, not compromising. So Venus in a square with Neptune can definitely it can highlight and boost all the positive, but also possibly all the negative qualities of Venus and Neptune. So definitely an exciting transit to watch over. So it happens on July 14th at 1:23 a.m. Eastern. So if you are on the West Coast, that's going to be July 13th for you. But it's building. It's going to be building from roughly 3-4 days before that. So let's say July 10th, July 9th, and then it's going to take 3-4 days for it to fade away. So give it 3-4 days before, 3-4 days after. And there's definitely some positive things, right? Venus is love, Neptune is dreams. So there might be a boost to your imagination, a tendency to daydream. Just make sure you're not doing it at an important meeting or when you need to sign important papers. So a great time for imagination, possibly a lovely time for creative individuals to write and explore your fantasy world because there's going to be more. It's going to be rich and potent. Romantically too, because Venus is love, Neptune is, fantasy. You may experience a particularly beautiful connection, very romantic, very soft and charming, and there might be to a point of too much, right? Don't run away from it, enjoy it, but make sure you're not signing off all of your money to this person, because Venus in a square to Neptune is very much I went to the best party, had the best time, woke up in a ditch. Or let's say not in a ditch, but woke up with my wallet missing. So you want to make sure you're staying grounded. And of course, why Venus square Neptune is connected to disappointment and frustration, purely because a lot of times we build such high expectations or we crave this romantic fantasy and other people are unable to provide and deliver to us what we're looking for. So watch out for over idealizing people and watch out for getting disappointed over things that are not realistic, but you expected the other person to know. You wanted them to know and to read your thoughts and they didn't do, so now you're disappointed. Be careful there. Watch out for overindulging in tough substances, and escaping reality. Be careful with like finances. Don't make any impulsive purchases around this time. Don't invest all your money into like a stock that you like the name of. Not a good time. Possibly like, and like, you know, romantically there might be a sense of, because you're dealing with like other people, and if a relationship is not stable, if you are in a serious, strong relationship, you've been tested together, and you know, you're grounded, you're loving, don't worry about anything. You might just have like a misunderstanding or fantastic like night, then maybe later one of you is late for work. Like there could be something as benign as this. But like if a relationship is ungrounded, if a relationship is half real, you know, in your head but not in their head, those relationships might dissolve. There might be disappointment. Like the other person might be more likely to go and have fun with someone else, especially if it's, like I said, if there's already tendencies. Don't worry about things if they're fine. It's a relatively shorter transit. I just feel like it's important to talk about it. Feeling insecure may come with this transit. That's why sometimes people make mistakes and you know, overindulge in drinks and other substances, so be careful there. And if you are feeling uncertain, this could actually be like a lovely time to make a video, to do like a live or anything, and like put yourself out there, and maybe talk to a trusted friend, get support from someone who can be trusted. Maybe even literally ask them, be like, you know, hey, I'm feeling insecure today, can you please boost my confidence? Yeah, and like just feeling confused, uncertain is likely. So let's take a look at all 12 signs real quick to see where this might show up for you. For Aries rising, Venus is in the 3rd house, squaring Neptune in the 12th house. So this could be great for imagination. 12th house deals with imagination, having dreams, having like seeing messages, and 3rd house deals with writing, so you may definitely get inspired. At the same time, 12th house might provide you with an image that is flawed, that isn't real, like a message that you receive about something that is not grounded, but you take it far and you kind of turn it into something that it's not. So be careful sabotaging relationships and following kind of like false ideals, because they're likely to be false. Feeling uncertain about your writing, about your ideas is possible here. So maybe it's better to work on your own and brainstorm the idea, or maybe even take it easy. And watch out for confusion and disappointment in relationship with siblings, because it's also a possibility that a sibling is acting confused and falling into some kind of delusion, and you're trying to help them but they're not listening. So maybe allow them to make their mistakes and trust that they will be fine. For Taurus rising, Venus is in the 2nd house, squaring Neptune in the 11th house. Watch out for the tendency to spend money on things that are not grounded, or investing money on things that are not like solid, because there might definitely be a tendency there. So be careful. Neptune in the 11th can possibly like bring an issue with a friend, where a friend is struggling somehow and maybe they're asking you for money and you're not like quite sure that you want to lend them money, or just a general uncertainty about the future of a friendship. So maybe it's the time to take it easy and wait for the fog of Neptune to clear before you have a conversation with your friend. For Gemini rising, Venus is in the 1st house, squaring Neptune in the 10th. You may get inspired. You may feel like a pull to do some kind of change to your look, or a change to your style, or even get a new creative idea, which is wonderful. Take it, run with it. But at the same time, this might somehow like negatively affect your work that you're doing that day. So I'd advise you be careful with like not using your like, you know, your work time to just like paint or sing or do work that they don't pay you for. Like if you're working from home and you can allow it, you can afford it, definitely do it, but just be careful. You may feel uncertain about your career. You may find out something that is not necessarily pleasant and sort of like have to navigate that, but be mindful that it's Neptune. Neptune is not always, sometimes Neptune is like smoke and mirrors. It's not necessarily real. So be careful. Don't make any harsh, like any quick decisions, any rash decisions. And if you're feeling insecure and uncertain, like dive into that creative impulse and do something fun. Allow your fantasy to flow, but avoid important professional decisions at this time. For Cancer rising, Venus is in the 12th house. It squares Neptune in the 9th house. Venus in the 12th can be very imaginative, but it can also take you in the direction of a relationship that is not grounded, especially with Neptune in the 9th. Maybe it's like a long distance relationship. Maybe it's a person that's not fully available, but you see the image of them and you get excited about them. So be careful following an ideal that may not be fully like proven to you or fully real. Definitely try to stay more grounded, try to stay more careful. At the same time, there might be like possibly interesting opportunities related to travel and education, but maybe you're not quite certain about making it work at the time. Again, not a good day to make any important decisions. It's better to take it easy and watch out for like legal matters that you're getting involved in, or signing any like publishing deals, any like professional things at this time. You may feel like you're sort of getting involved in something that doesn't feel quite fair. So it's best to wait. For Leo rising, Venus in the 11th squares Neptune in the 8th. Venus in the 11th wants to have fun. It wants to hang out with friends. It wants to go to like a party together or take a group class or something. And Neptune in the 8th might create like, it might even be like, it might be, you know, like there's a great party and maybe you're throwing it or you're the one who's paying for it, but you're also feeling like a tinge of disappointment because you're the only one who is investing into it. Or maybe you're involved in a group project and once again, you're the one who's taking care of everything, or you're being extra generous, but your friends are not matching it. So be careful spending all of your money. Possibly ahead of time, ask your friends to chip in, and so you have more fairness, so there's less disappointment and frustration. For Virgo rising, Venus in the 10th squares Neptune in the 7th. Neptune in the 7th can create confusion, uncertainty, problems with relationships, business partnerships, or romantic relationships. If it's a romantic relationship, maybe your partner doesn't like that you work too much, or they sort of put this demands on you that you don't fully know how to satisfy. Or if it's a professional relationship, maybe your partner, maybe you don't quite feel certain whether you need to work with them or not. You may have like a sense of self-doubt or just like doubting the partnership. So it's best not to rush into the partnership. Maybe take it easy. Maybe, you know, sign the contract once the fog of Neptune clears. Yeah, definitely don't rush. Libra rising has Venus in the 9th house square Neptune in the 6th. Venus in the 9th can inspire you to travel, or it can inspire you to learn something new, something exciting, like have fun, go to a museum, basically enjoy learning something. But then like Neptune in the 6th can like sort of throw a ton of work in your face, and maybe you don't have time to do it. Maybe there is a conflict with a colleague. Maybe it's someone that you're planning to have an adventure with is not quite agreeing with the way you're seeing things, and you end up battling it out. Conflicts related, like even as simple as, like, you know, Venus in the 9th for Libra rising, you want to go have a picnic in the park, mini travel. But then Neptune in the 6th is like you disagree about the food to have, or you bring food but then somebody ends up being left out and like they are a vegetarian, you didn't consider that, so there might be a sense of like frustration related to that. Be careful making important decisions when it comes to traveling, writing, legal matters at this time. For Scorpio rising, Venus in the 8th squares Neptune in the 5th house. So you may experience, like, this could be quite romantic, I think, with Neptune in the 5th house, and maybe sensual and very like intuitive. You and your partner are having like, you know, connection that's really deep. But it can also be, maybe romantic relationship can also be unclear at this time. Like it's a great day to just go with the flow, but if you are more of a person who wants things planned out and wants to know where everything is going, this might be stressful for you. Especially when it comes to, like, you know, your idea, your and your partner idea of what to spend on, what's worth investing into, how to spend money on children, what do you want to do with children, do you want to have children or not. There might be some important conversations you need to have, not necessarily right away, but like have conversations related to spending money, because you might not be on the same page with them. Sag rising is having Venus in the 7th house square Neptune in the 4th house. Neptune in the 4th can either create a lovely party at home and you enjoy a great time with your partner, a great night in, or it can create uncertainty, confusion, lack of clarity, a sense of being disappointment, disillusioned in your relationship because of a family dynamic, because of a real estate situation. Maybe you are moving in with your partner, but they want you to live with their family and you don't. Or you're dealing with selling a home and moving, and you have very different ideas about where to move. So if you're experiencing frustration and uncertainty, don't rush to have all the answers immediately. Try to take it easy and don't push the situation. Allow it to, you know, it will resolve. You just need to wait for like cool heads and more clarity and better communication abilities. For Capricorn rising, Venus in the 6th house squares Neptune in the 3rd house. Venus in the 6th wants to create ease in your everyday life. It wants you to have fun while doing the dishes, while going out doing laundry, while getting groceries done. Neptune in the 3rd can create literal like misunderstandings about your schedule. Maybe you feel like you don't have anything planned, but then actually you do. Maybe someone is expecting things from you, so there might be a sense of just like having too many things to do and overextending yourself possibly. So watch out for committing to too many things. You might enjoy actually take it easy, and you can. I feel like if you take it easy around this time, around July 14th and like the full moon, you might actually enjoy yourself quite a lot. But if you try to take care of everything and everyone, you're likely to end up frustrated. Miscommunications with colleagues are likely, with siblings or neighbors, so double check who you're sending messages to. Avoid being like, don't send a weird text to someone you know you work with. For Aqua rising, Venus in the 5th house is squaring Neptune in the 2nd, and you might overspend. Venus in the 5th wants to have fun. It wants to go out with friends, party, go on a date, have a creative experience. It's just like excited. And Neptune in the second is like, sure, here's the credit card, just go for it. So be careful when it comes to overspending. There might be romantic confusion with Venus in the fifth squaring Neptune in the second, like feeling like you and your partner don't agree. But once again, like I said earlier, if your relationship is happy and you love each other, it's stable and grounded, you don't have to worry about anything. But there might be uncertainty or different values, confusion in relationships related to what you want to spend money on, if you and your partner have like very different ideas of what to spend money on. Finally, for Pisces rising, Venus in the fourth will square Neptune in the first. And I wonder, dear Pisces risings, that there might be a tendency for you to sacrifice, which of course, right, like you're a Pisces rising. So, but maybe that tendency to self-sacrifice will get examined, and will need to be tested and checked, because Neptune is in the first house. It might like make you give too much to a point that like give too much to a family member or a parent, who's also a family member, or like a neighbor, for example, to a point that you end up feeling depleted. So definitely take good care of yourself. Watch out for overextending yourself. There might also be like a sense of confusion about your living situation around this time, and it's likely that your actions might create even more confusion and uncertainty. So don't try to push the situation, and don't make any important decisions at this time about moving, renovating, selling, anything like that. Take it easy. Let me know how this resonates in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.